Miriam.
I did it for the child, not for you.
The day her husband divorced her in church, Miriam did not cry. She picked up her Bible, straightened her dress, and walked out of the building alone. That was the last Sunday she ever needed anyone's pity. Pastor Daniel was the kind of man who quoted scripture like a weapon. From the pulpit he preached fruitfulness, abundance, the blessed womb. Behind closed doors he told his wife of 10 years that she was an empty vessel God had abandoned. He said it calmly, the way men say things they have rehearsed. On their 10th anniversary, a Sunday after the final hymn, he stood before the congregation and announced he was divorcing Miriam. Cited God's direction, cited fruitfulness. The church murmured and nodded. Miriam sat in the front row and felt the air leave the building. She stood up, straightened her dress, picked up her Bible, and walked out. No screaming, no collapse, just a woman choosing to leave a place that had already left her. He remarried within 3 months, a young woman named Tolu, bright-eyed, 26, full of laughter. She fell pregnant almost immediately. The church erupted in celebration. God has vindicated his servant. The testimony traveled across 3 states. Miriam heard about it through someone's forwarded voice note. She turned her phone over, made herself a cup of tea, and sat quietly with what she felt until it passed. Then she went back to work. She had started the foundation in a single room with her own savings, a space for women who carried the particular loneliness of empty arms and full hearts. Women who had been prayed over and pitied and quietly dismissed. She named it Fruitful Soul Foundation. It grew the way quiet things grow, steadily, without noise, without need for applause. By the 5th year, it had 3 offices, a medical partnership, and had touched over 2,000 women. Miriam had not touched a church pew since that Sunday. The call came on an unremarkable Thursday. A referral, a family and financial collapse, a child born with complex disabilities requiring urgent, long-term care. The father, a pastor whose congregation had dissolved, whose savings were gone, whose faith had reportedly gone with them. The file came across her desk with a name, Pastor Daniel. She held the file for a long time. Her tea went cold. Then she approved the funding, fully, anonymously. For the child, she wrote in the internal note, process without delay. She was at the hospital the day he found out. She had not planned to be. She came to check on another patient. He saw her across the corridor, the file in the nurse's hand, her name on the header. He understood everything in 4 seconds. He crossed the corridor and fell, not sat, not stumbled, to his knees in front of her, weeping the way men weep when there is nothing left to protect. Miriam, I did it for the child, she said quietly. Not for you. She stepped around him and continued down the corridor. Her heels were steady on the hospital floor. Her Bible was in her bag, and she had somewhere else to be.